Senator Bongbong, let's go to the West Philippine Sea.
Oh.
Pag-usapan natin ito. Pag pinag-uusapan ng West Philippine Sea, Scarborough Shoal or Bajo de Masinloc, Panatag, ika nga, and the Kalayaan Island Group na northeastern part ng Spratly Islands. Yan ang inaangkin, hindi inaangkin, yan ang atin. There's a West Philippine Sea na patuloy na inaangkin ng China. Sa Subi, Zamora Reef at Mischief, Panganiban Reef ang tawag natin. At iba pa, nagtayo na ang China dito ng mga underground storage, missile shelters, radar arrays, and other facilities. Noong July 12, 2016, naglabas ng desisyon ang Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, pabor sa Pilipinas sa issue sa West Philippine Sea. Atin ang West Philippine Sea, sabi ng korte. Pero patuloy pa rin na inaangkin ito ng China. Tuloy din tayo sa pag-file ng mga diplomatic protests. As of December 2021, we have filed 241 protests, diplomatic protests, at nakatanggap naman tayo ng 152 na sagot. Tanong, bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, you are also the chief architect of foreign policy. My question is, you are applying to be president of this country. If all diplomatic efforts fail, do you think the Philippines is strong enough and prepared to fight a defensive war against China to protect our territorial sovereignty?
Well, first of all, I go back to the premise. We must not allow diplomacy to fail. It is the only option that we have. The only way, there are three ways where territory can be gained or lost. And one is to arbitration with the agreement of both parties. Kasi arbitration nga, there's an arbiter between two different parties. Ang problema dyan sa China ay sinabi na nila, hindi kami signatory dyan, hindi kami makikinig kung ano man ang magiging findings ng court. So, nandun na tayo. So that arbitration is no longer an arbitration if there's only one party. So it's no longer available to us. The second way that territory is lost or gained is through war. Now, that I believe is a option that we must dismiss outright because it is a completely ludicrous assertion that going to war with China is going to be advantageous to the Philippines or even to China, for that matter. Nobody wants to go to war. China does not want to go to war. The Philippines must not go to war. The third way is by bilateral agreement. And that's what we are left with. Bilateral agreement with China. We must continue to engage China. So, if you talk about pure military capability, I think we all know that to compare the military capability of the Philippines, even if we are building up and we are modernizing our AFP, malayong-malayo talaga tayo sa China when it comes to men and material and capability to fight a shooting war. So, wag na nating pag-usapan yun dahil hindi talaga option yun. We must continue to engage the Chinese. And the diplomatic, pag nagpapadala tayo ng diplomatic protest, hindi sapat yun. We have to still continue to try and engage them in all many ways. I always use the example of the United States and China. Maalala ninyo, naging malapit, nagkaroon ng diplomatic relations ang China at saka ang United States. Nagsimulang usapan sa ping-pong. Sino naman may akala doon manggagaling yung solusyon? Kaya't subukan natin lahat ng paraan. Yung mga negosyanteng Chinese na may pamilya pa sa China, sabihin naman nila, baka tulungan nyo naman kami dito para baka maayos natin ito. Yung unahin natin, yung maliit lang na bagay, yung mga fisherman na hindi pinapapasok, yung mga mangingisda natin na siguro 100 taong na nangingisda doon, ngayon hindi na sila pwedeng pumasok. Unahin na muna natin yun. Yung kayang-kaya naman siguro na natin kausapin ng China, pabayaan nyo sila.
Senator Bong, tuloy-tuloy ang ating diplomasya. I mean, diplomatic, because you said diplomacy must not fail. Pero paano ka makikipag-negotiate sa bayang China na nakikipag-usap ka, halimbawa, pero hindi ka naman siniseryoso? I'll go to the point of the US and China, the ping-pong diplomacy. That's fine. But you know, China and the United States of America are on equal footing. Those are both superpowers. This is the Philippines and China. Maliit na bayan. Hindi tayo siniseryoso. Nakikipag-usap tayo, pero patuloy naman ang kanilang pagbibuild ng mga structures sa West Philippine Sea. So how do you continue diplomacy?
I think that we must engage. There is no other way. Anong ibang mga solusyon? Sasabihin natin, yung United States, pumasok uli kayo dito sa Pilipinas, kayo mag-defend sa atin. Hindi na pwede yun. Hindi na, kasi kung minsan...
Pero malaki ang interest nila sa South China Sea.
Malaki talaga ang interest nila sa South China Sea.
That's about over $5 trillion that pass through.
But we have to get past the old thinking ng Cold War na meron tinatawag na spheres of influence.
Yeah.
Bawat bansa namimili sa US kami, sa Soviet Union kami. Hindi na ganun ngayon. Ang iisipin lang natin, ano yung mabuti para sa Pilipinas? We continue to engage. Of course, we have a very strong, traditional, institutional relationship, special relationship with the United States.
Did you say you would invite the United States to get involved and help us?
No. That is the problem is between China and us.
So the United States should be out.
If the Americans come in, it's bound to fail. Because you're putting the two protagonists together. And we must understand, dalawang superpower na nasa gitna tayo, lit-lit natin. Ang biro ko nga, bumahing lang na sa bayan, mawawala na tayo sa mundo.
Senator Bongbong, doon lang sa arbitration. Sabi mo nga, paano ko mag-arbitrate? Sinabi naman ng China, hindi ko tinatanggap ang iyong imbitasyon.
Yeah.
Do you think is there value of the PCA's decision saying that the West Philippine Sea belongs to us?
There is value because they confirm.
Let's talk about the West Philippine Sea, VP Leni. Sa kasalukuyan, ang Spratly Islands. We're not claiming the whole of the Spratly Islands. To be very specific, ang kasama sa West Philippine Sea ay ang Kalayaan Islands Group. Okay? At merong mga isla po, Subi, Mischief Reefs, na natayuan na po ng mga hangars, underground storage, missile, shelters, radar, arrays, and other facilities ng China. Noong July 12, 2016, naglabas ng desisyon ang Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA po, pabor sa Pilipinas sa issue ng West Philippine Sea. Pero despite this, tuloy pa rin ang China sa pagtatayo ng mga artificial islands at infrastructures sa mga teritoryong inaangkin nila na atin. Tuloy din tayo sa pagfa-file ng diplomatic protests. As of December of 2021, we have filed 241 diplomatic protests. Sinagot naman tayo ng China, 152 times. Tanong, dahil pag ikay pinalad na maging presidente, you will also be the chief architect of foreign policy. If all diplomatic efforts fail, bilang presidente, do you think, VP Leni, the Philippines is strong enough and prepared to fight a defensive war against China to protect our territorial sovereignty?
Ako paniniwala ko, boy, hindi natin kailangan dumating sa puntong yon. Unang-una, meron tayong arbitral ruling na pabor sa atin. Ang pinakabuod ng arbitral ruling na yon, atin ang West Philippine Sea. Dahil atin yon, ipaglalaban natin yon. Pero having said that, ang laging punto, ang focus ng lahat na efforts, ano yung makakabuti sa best interest ng Pilipino, ano yung makakabuti sa best interest ng bansa. Hindi lang ito sovereignty, boy, pero kabuhayan ito eh. Kabuhayan ng ating mangingisda. Ngayon, dadating na tayo sa time na magkakaproblema tayo sa supply ng kuryente. Ito yung, di ba, yung resource na manggagaling dito sa West Philippine Sea. Parang ito yung sustainability natin as a country. So having said that, dapat pinaglalaban natin. Una, I am all for nurturing our very important relationship with China. Pero that relationship with China should be based on mutual respect and adherence to international law. Yun sa akin. Pangalawa, yung para sa akin, that decision of the arbitral court of tribunal, we should leverage that para yung coalition of nations na kasama natin sa pag-protect ng West Philippine Sea, mabuo natin. Kasi kung hindi tayo gumagalaw, bakit naman aasahan natin yung iba na gumalaw? So para sa akin, boy, napakalaking win yung ating pinanalunan nung 2016. Maraming mga bansa na naghihintay kung anong gagawin natin. Hindi tayo kailangan pumasok sa giyera. Ang kailangan lang natin, mag-enter tayo into alliances with traditional and emerging partners, allies, para tulungan tayo sa pag-protect ng West
VP Leni,
Philippine Sea.
ang International Tribunal Court ay inimbitahan lamang because you can only invite a
Yes,
country.
yes.
Ang nangyari, tinanggihan ng China, ayaw kong mag-participate. So, may mga kritiko na nagsasabing, paano kayo nanalo? Wala naman kayong kalaban doon sa arbitration. At ang isa pa dito ay, ang sinasabi ng China ay infirm ang inyong reklamo. At saka ang inyong mga allegations ay hindi totoo. Tapos, yun ang inyong kinakatigan. Ang gusto namin, bilateral talks.
Alam mo, boy, ang tagal ko nang sinasabi na sa issue ng West Philippine Sea, hindi magiging favorable sa Pilipinas ang bilateral talks. Kasi napakalaking bansa ng China. Yung sa akin, yung multilateral na pag-uusap, yung angkat natin ng kaso sa international arbitral court, ito talaga yung mechanism para meron tayo ng laban.
VP, so tuloy-tuloy lamang yun. Nagpaprotesta tayo, pero they continue to build facilities, halimbawa, doon sa ating West Philippine Sea. So, what happens? Kasi ang pinupunto ko ay, mali tayong bayan. And I am also against war. Pero huwag natin kalimutan, 79, there was that bloody border war between China and Vietnam. So, minsan walang kinalaman ang laki ng bansa. Kung ang pinaglalaban ay sovereignty. Pagkatao na natin to eh.
Pero sa akin na, boy, ang dami natin pwedeng gawin. Unang-una, kailangan pinapalakas natin yung ating defense. Pinapalakas natin yung ating defense, naglalaan tayo ng pera para siguraduhin na yung kinakailangan natin para depensahan yung sarili natin ay kaya natin. Pero having said that again, sa atin yung kasi low-hanging fruit na to leverage that decision to form a coalition of nations. Para ang coalition of nations, mas malakas yun kaysa mag-isa lang tayo. And yun, kaya ko sinasabi low-hanging fruit, kasi willing yung mga bansa. Willing yung mga bansa.
What countries are you talking about? Countries are also involved in the South China Sea. Napakalaga po ng South China Sea na diskusyon dahil over $5 trillion trade ang dumadaan dyan sa
Totoo,
pathway na yun.
kaya nga, boy, kung nakikita mo ngayon, sino ba yung mga nag-i-interest? Aside from those directly affected. Kasi those directly affected nung mga...
We're talking about Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, yes.
Aside from that, kung nakikita mo ngayon, meron ng bagong coalition na mo. US, Australia.
Dahil ito yung may mga negosyo na dumadaan.
Oo. Pero ito, kaya nga, sila nga mismo hindi solo eh. Sila nga mismo gumagawa